Hello, everybody. Welcome to me in Fit and Lean. Now, on today's video, we're going to discuss a very important topic about calorie counting. Yes. Now, if you're new to this channel, please hit that like and subscribe button, and let's begin. Now, a very important question among the fat loss community is: should you or should you not have to count calories? We hate counting calories, because it's just such a chore, and every time you put something in your mouth, you have to write it down. So my thought is, yes, you should count calories, but only in certain cases. So if you're starting a new program and you have no idea how many calories you're usually eating, I would track your calories for at least 2 weeks. And then every time you track your calories, you can see what you're doing wrong and get a feel for calories. Now, I've been doing this so long, folks, I can just eyeball something across the room and pretty much guess how many calories are in it. But if you track your calories for a couple of weeks, that will help. Now, you should also track your calories if you're not losing weight or you're gaining weight. If you're doing that, then there's something wrong, and you should go look at how many calories you're eating for sure to determine what's wrong. Now, I will also say this, snacking. Now, this is such a big, obvious thing, folks, but if you're not snacking, you have a lot less calories to track. So if you're eating a healthy diet with very few or no snacks at all, 3 to 4 meals a day, one very small meal, and then three medium-sized meals, you should not have to worry about tracking your calories, your caloric intake. That's something that you probably could figure out intuitively. Tracking your calories is really meant for people who are trying to reassess where they are in their weight loss journey. So I make it very clear that you should not track your calories at all if you know what you're doing and you're moving along and you're not snacking. So if you just cut out snacks from your diet, you've already eliminated half your calories for the day. And also, if you're cutting out a lot of sugar and foods you don't need. Now, when I was gaining weight, and I figured out how I gained weight so easily, I would just buy like a bag of Oreo cookies or something and just eat them throughout the day. Not even, just mindless eating is what gets people fat. It's not that they're gluttons. It's not like they just sit down like Nikocado Avocado and just decide to have a mukbang. No, people just put things in their mouth. They're not even thinking what's going in their mouth. And, there's a problem in many ways, right, in today's society. So just stop putting things in your mouth unless you're really sure that you want to put it in there, So, yeah, go back to it's just common sense, folks. Use your head. If you're mindlessly snacking, like when we want to snack, what do? We go down to the kitchen and we just take out a bag of chips, take out a thing of cookies, and just start shoving it in, and then wait till we're full. Now, this is the surefire way to gain weight, because you're taking in like a whole bag of Oreos. When I used to eat bags of Oreos, I was getting about 1,200 calories plus of pure sugar, no nutrition. So to combat this, I suggest people plan. If you're going to have a snack, you should plan it. Now, I hate planning, folks. I'm not a planner. But if you do plan your snacks, like say, I'm going to have this. So every Sunday is my, royal treat day, because it's Lord's Day. So I just have whatever I want, but I don't have everything I want. I just say, well, if I want cheesecake today, I'll have a cheesecake. And then I find out how many calories are in the cheesecake so I can have it. But the worst thing to do is say, it's my day off, and just buy a whole bunch of snacks and just gobbly-goo, because it's not going to look good on you. And remember, folks, you are what you eat. So you have to be sure that when you're snacking, it is mindful snacking, not randomly shoving it in there. So yes, calorie counting can help you on your fat loss journey, but it is not necessary. A lot of people find that once they get into a rhythm, they are able to determine their caloric needs for the day. Now, I calculated my BMR, which is your basic metabolic rate. That means how many calories you burn without doing anything. Now it says, of course, on my high weight, which is very frustrating, that I can only really take in 2,375 calories. That's to maintain 287 pounds or so, which is not terrible, but it's not great. Now, as I lose more weight, it is possible, and if I add muscle, that I will be able to change my metabolic rate, and you can change that. But remember, folks, it doesn't take much to make you fat. All it takes is a few extra calories a day. And those few extra calories a day add up to 1,000 calories a month, and before you know it, you've gained 20 pounds in a year, and you have no idea how it happened. It isn't gluttony that does people in. It's the snacking where they're not really thinking, they're eating a lot, they're just grabbing some cookies here and there, grabbing a Coke here and there, and doing that. So I would like to make that clear. So if that helps, I hope it does. So yes, calorie count only if you are trying to track where you are on your fat loss journey, but once you get into the rhythm and the habit, you probably won't have to count many calories for very long. And I would like to advise everyone that it is a very hard thing to do. Losing weight is a very hard thing to do, and keeping it off is even harder. And in our society, we tell people they're lazy if they're fat, like it's all their fault. Instead of doing that, we should instruct people on how to be knowledgeable and how to do it, because it really takes a lot of effort for most people. Some people who are genetically blessed can eat whatever they want and not gain weight. But these people are also at risk for diabetes, heart attack, stroke, cancer, because they're not putting on weight, yet they're eating a horrible diet. So that's why I don't believe that being thin is necessarily an indicator of health. Now, being obese is not healthy. We all know that, folks. And I don't agree with health at every size, but I do believe that you can eat a healthier diet and have a little junk in the trunk, have a little push in the tush. You can have a little, have a chest even, Doesn't mean so. We have to also differentiate between the visceral fat, which is a deep fat under our belly, or the layers of fat on top of our skin, which is subcutaneous fat, which is a lot less unhealthy. Well, it's unsightly, but it's not as unhealthy. Now, it can be unhealthy in large quantities like myself, but it's not what causes the heart attacks, diabetes, and strokes. It's that deep fat, that visceral fat. And some people, folks, who look really skinny can have a lot of visceral fat. That's why BMI is so deceptive, and I will do another video on why you should not rely on BMI. So, thank you all for watching. If you're new to this channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. I hope this helps you, give you vital information on how to use the tools to make your life a little better. And folks, if you can, hit me up on my Patreon account. It's Meet Skelton. You can go to my website at meetskeltonsplace.com. And remember, folks, say a prayer for someone special today. Bye-bye.